Welcome back, everybody. Rudy with Alpha Investments. So this is a video I've been working on for a while on how to kind of make it really not too dramatic or anything, but to really share the problem with individuals' perspectives and just the culture around the attitude of Magic, content creators, stores, wizards as a whole. So today, what I have is I actually went through my own Patreon account in the last 4 years, and I decided to go back to just 2016, 2017, and I save all the most ridiculous things that happen. I kind of have a filing system. So today I have a system here where I'm going to share some of the what they call exit surveys, the people who closed their accounts, hated me, and all these things, on why they closed their account. And when they told me, and I'm going to put screenshots on the screen, you guys are going to see the things that I did and why they were just, cursed me out and left and everything, okay? So today we're going to start with this very first one. You ready? So, as you guys can see, here it is. September 28th, 2016. This was a $15 patron. He said Rudy the Magic Guy obviously was not as active as he expected. Rudy was going to sell his booster boxes that he's speaking against, which is, for example, as Eldritch Moon and Kaladesh booster boxes for $79.99 shipped, and it's a scam. So this is the first thing here. This was back in 2016 when I first started out, and I was selling Eldritch Moon booster boxes for $79.99 shipped to your door. Not many people bought them. Again, everybody was bashing me like crazy. This was when I was first discovered by Reddit and I was put online. Everybody was just doing anything they could to take me down. And to this day in 2020, I get things all the time. People get suspended and banned on Reddit for asking a question or bringing up the name Rudy and all this fun stuff. So this is interesting. So we have a scenario here where this individual, whatever his mindset was, he was just so angry that I was selling Eldritch Moon booster boxes for $79.99 and then Kaladesh boxes. And it says I was actively speaking against them. Well, technically he says actively speaking against investing in them. Technically, that's not accurate. I was actively speaking because I actually ran a mass box opening, and I was speaking against doing a mass box opening with Kaladesh because of the lottery cards and the suppression of the standard single card value because of the lottery cards. I actually ran a mass box opening on Eldritch Moon. Actually, those videos are still up. But again, he was so negative on it, and I told people that, these are all long-term things. You got to wait 3 to 5 years to see anything. Obviously, I don't need to tell you guys what happened to Eldritch Moon or Kaladesh. So let's go to the next thing. This is an interesting one. November 30th, 2016, everybody. This one just said, needs better booster boxes. Come off and stop selling Innistrad. Because this was the time I was selling Shadows over Innistrad and Eldritch Moon for $79.99 ship. This was November. I think maybe Conspiracy 1 or Conspiracy 2. I can't remember. You guys will have to, for those of you around. So this was a patron that closed his account who was angry at me and was literally sent me multiple messages. I remember some of these. And this was a guy who was angry because I was only offering in this particular month Shadows over Innistrad for $79.99, and he thought it was a complete scam and all this stuff. Next. March 1st, 2017. So a little bit newer. This was 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. I remember this particular guy. This guy attacked me and couldn't stand me. He was putting links, and he gave me links to his Reddit saying he was going to tear down my life. It was unbelievable. So this guy says this was a $20 patron and just said, when I pledged, the Patreon website stated that booster boxes would be $69.99 shipped. And then on the day of my pledge being charged, it changed to $79.99. That is technically true, though. So let me explain that. So what happened, for those of you who weren't around 3-4 years ago, I thought $79.99 was too expensive when I sold Gatecrash and Return to Ravnica. So when I ran into February of 2017, I thought selling Return to Ravnica and Gatecrash for $69.99 shipped was a better, more attractive price, since that was where the market was to really make it worthwhile for the patrons. And then when March 1st, as you guys see on here, March 1st rolled over, I put it back to $79.99, and then I went ahead and sold the new standard set. I don't know if it was Kaladesh for $79, Aether Revolt. I don't know what was, or no, Battle for Zendikar I was selling for $79. I don't remember what it was. I'm sorry. So this gentleman was so angry because I lowered the price below $79.99 for the first time to give an even better deal on boxes. He was so angry, he closed his $20 pledge because he thought buying 2 cases for $79.99 for Battle for Zendikar was, and all this was just a scam. And I remember this was the guy, he sent me like a 10-page thing cursing me, talking about bait and switch and the biggest scam and hope everything burns down and ruins your life and family. Just unbelievable. And again, you know, I was like, you know, I tell you, if he just literally stayed at a $20 patron, bought 2 cases of Battle for Zendikar, 2 cases of Kaladesh, dude would have made a fortune. Anyways, this actual example is the reason I never lowered the $79.99 price point on booster boxes ever again. This one person and how much he attacked and threatened me on the internet, Reddit, and personally in messages was the reason I never, even when there was opportunities later on, I never lowered the price. Even the only other time that happened was actually, I think there was a time, like it was with Rivals of Ixalan or Hour of Devastation. There was a distributor in panic and actually wanted to unload some pallets of Hour of Devastation. Instead of my normal like $77 a box, they offered to me for like $67 a box. And I was going to actually lower the price on patrons to $69.99 that month so that my margins would be the same on the losses and balances. But this was the reason I never lowered it again. Isn't that crazy, everybody? I know some of you are going to say, well, Rudy, it sucks that one person ruins it, but that's unfortunately how we are. And you got to remember that when Wizards makes decisions, because the very loud, screeching minority on the internet are very aggressive towards them. So I can understand that because I've had that happen. Excuse me, hiccups. So next, March 3rd. Oh, yeah, 2 days later, March 3rd, 2017. $15 patron. Closed the account. Here's a little snippet, because I couldn't really show a lot of this because they had their names and stuff with it. This guy, he says that being a $15, I think a $15 patron at that time was 1 or 2, I don't know if it was 2 cases or 1 case a month, I don't remember. He says that simply put, in March of 2017, I think this was Battle for Zendikar and Oath of the Gatewatch, a $79.99 shipped. This was the gentleman that was angry. I remember this guy saying that even I bought it. I remember him saying he bought a case of Battle for Zendikar for the $80 a box, used his 2% cash back, but with the $15 Patreon fee, it still cost him like $80.80 a box was the adjusted price with the cash back on the credit card and paying the Patreon fee. And so he put a comment saying, box discount gets canceled out by cost of patron. And of course, the rest of you guys don't see is, you know, obviously this is not worth it. Paying almost $81 a box is way too expensive and is a ripoff. And Rudy's Patreon will probably not be around in a year. Okay? So this is a guy that felt $80.81 a box was a scam for Battle for Zendikar when you factor in the cost of the subscription and actually supporting the channel and the videos and talking with me. He felt the benefit of communication, liking the channel, supporting me, and talking and buying was not worth a couple dollars. And he felt, especially at $80.81, that Battle for Zendikar and Oath of the Gatewatch was a definite ripoff. Next, May 26, 2017. $15 patron, closed the account, received a private message from creator that Kaladesh boxes were going to be available, but then they were no longer available. Did not like the selection this month of boxes. So to refresh anyone's memory, that's because that was the time that Kaladesh was starting to become out of print or difficult to get, and I think I ended up offering Aether Revolt for $79.99. You know, Fatal Push, remember that era, everybody? And again, you guys are going to start to notice a trend here. People are very angry because they want a certain box or they felt it was a ripoff or there was a scam or something to do with the Reddit and negativity. And the very, I think, disappointing thing in all this stuff was I knew when I engineered the system at the beginning, anybody who literally just stayed the course and does what I do, just pretty much copies me and makes a position in these items, it's going to work out amazing long term if you were just patient and you didn't get aggressive and emotional and angry. But people just, it's really, it's kind of sad, kind of disturbing, just disappointing on just what happens to a lot of people and how angry they get when, you know, Rudy's selling Aether Revolt for $79.99 versus Kaladesh. Oh my God, what a ripoff. He ran out or he can't get it this month and now he's, oh my. And it's disappointing. I think that's what it really comes down to, It really is sad how that works, everybody. Honestly, it is what it is. Sorry about that. So anyways, next up here we're going to go over to June 19th, 2017. $15 Patron closes his account then. I just lost all faith in investments in Magic. And when I see stuff like this, like that's not even directed towards me. That to me is sad. Because I know exactly what 2017 was like in the middle of 2018. You guys know what I'm talking about. Iconic Masters, Hour of Devastation. It was a bad time in Magic. Stores were shutting down. There was no money made. The Ixalans, the Rivals, the Amonkhet, the Iconic Masters, Masters 25, everything was a terrible time. And, you know, this one wasn't even, he just said, look, I lost faith in this. I'm leaving. And that's sad. Because that happens to everybody. And the problem is, we're in this time and culture and society where when you have an opinion like this, you can't really ask anybody. You can't go online to a message board and get good advice and opinions without being literally banned, or what they call it, downvoting, or, you know, shadow banned, or just attacked or made fun of or ridiculed. The whole thing, it's a sad thing. It really is. So when I see, you know, I just lost all faith in Magic, that sucks. That really sucks. Because I feel like if that person just had a good conversation, they would have a different opinion. You know, and here we are 3 years later. Good Lord, you could have bought anything back then. All right, I'm going to get to one more here, and then I'm going to stop, and then we're just going to talk for a few minutes, okay? November 22nd, 2017. I didn't even make it to 2018, 2019, just to give you an idea here. $15 Patron, closed account. Now, here's an interesting one. I thought I would be able to get a single box of Unstable, epic fail, sad face, and then I was hoping for something more interesting for Black Friday Rudy sales, and it failed again. I don't remember what my Black Friday sale was 3 years ago. I'm sorry. I honestly just don't know. I don't know. But I can tell you, I can comment on this. He is correct. I didn't sell Unstable. I sold Unstable by the 3-pack because it's shaped odd. I do that with all Modern Horizons, Unstable, Conspiracy, because of the shipping logistics. And I was selling Unstable for $79.99 shipped. Unstable. Yes, folks, Unstable. Just like Kaladesh, Battle for Zendikar, Aether Revolt. Actually, Conspiracy was $69.99, I think. You know, Return to Ravnica and Gatecrash were $69.99. But, you know, it's sad because, again, and maybe he just said that because he was financially tight and couldn't afford 3 boxes, and that I understand. But then my counterpoint is, you know, if you're really, really tight financially, I don't recommend you buy Magic boxes to sit on or invest or keep sealed. If that is the direction of your personal situation in life, or finances, or job, or living situation, if you're going through an unstable time, no pun intended with the name of the box, you know, I don't recommend going down a path of looking for any form of investments. Stocks, bonds, real estate, commodities, collectibles, anything. You need to have a stable foundation before you consider doing any of these things. Because this is, you know, parking money, which is like a slang term for investment. You don't focus on parking money and where to do it until you have the foundation of your life ready. And the biggest takeaway on why I kind of wanted to make this video was that just, I wish a lot of those individuals weren't so emotional in the moment. And it reminds me of 2020 right now. I see a lot of this, a lot of just very angry people between the country and politics. Then, of course, the virus situation and shutting down the U.S. and social distance is probably the word of the year. And, you know, but a good lesson is that looking back, it's easy for us now to look back in 2016 and 2017 and say, well, golly, oh my God, that guy was upset because you were selling Aether Revolt. Or because 1 month you sold Gatecrash for $69, then you went back to $79 and you sold Battle for Zendikar. When you look back now, obviously, you're all thinking, oh my God, all those boxes are $200. They're doubled, they're tripled, they're quadrupled in price. I mean, there's not a single box that was in 2016 that I sold that didn't double in value. Every single box that was sold for $69 or $79 has doubled in value with 100% just track record. And I'm not saying that's going to guarantee the future because I don't know what the future is. Maybe this does come to an end and maybe it falls apart. But you have to remember, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And now we're in an era that I'm seeing the same thing. The same stuff, everybody. Wizards is now printing so many products, everything's worthless. It's the new baseball card collapse of the 90s, the comic book collapse of the 90s. And I don't see that. I see an opposite scenario. All I see are stores. And I highly recommend any of you watching anywhere around the world, go to your local magic shop. Go to your small mom and pop magic local game store. Honestly, go there, look behind the counter, ask them, and look how much money they have tied up in sealed product and all these sets and new magic products. And I can almost assure you that almost all of these stores are going to have very little sealed products sitting on that shelf. Maybe they have some extra in the back room. Maybe they're keeping some for themselves. But overall, there's always going to be exceptions and creepy Rudys and other people like me out there. But most stores out there, everybody, are not doing that. There's so much product, they can't stock and sit on and build positions of all this stuff. It is the inverse of what the general perspective is on the message boards and the scholars on the internet and the people who police the discussions. And it's sad because it's going to lead to more people who are the same as these old patrons from 4 years ago. And all those, they were there. I remember talking to some of them, and they were just so filled with negativity and rage, they wouldn't see the raw numbers. And they missed out big time. Big time. Literally, Rudy stopped selling Eldritch Moon, stopped selling Shadow. This is garbage. He's only selling this. And it was just, I see that now, years later. Or the other one, my favorite one too, is, you got to pay the patron fee. And you're paying a $15 a month fee. And the funny part about this, my Patron's not even open. I'm not even soliciting anyone. You can't even sign up if you're watching the video. There's no benefit. I'm not trying to accumulate additional patrons. Please don't sign up. Don't even click the link. And hopefully, if you click it, it should just say sold out. I'm not doing this to try to get more sign up. I'm doing this because I want people to understand where we are in 2020 based on where we were in 2016, 2017. There's no difference. It's the same thing. People are saying the same crap. They're just as negative, and they don't want to have a discussion openly. Same thing. Same reason there's no video on this channel talking about, Wizards banning cards or Therese Nielsen's on the reserve list and these things. There's only so much I can talk about. We're not even allowed to have conversations. And there's no difference from 2016, everybody. These patrons that were angry, I see the same thing 4 years later. And those are the people, unfortunately, they're never going to get ahead because they are always struck with that uncertain, anxiety, negative, scared attitude where they don't want to invest. They don't want to better themselves. They don't want to wait years for value to go up. And that's disappointing. And for the people who do that and invest or stay with equities or stocks or bonds or real estate or collectibles, comics, Pokemon, if you've seen Pokemon lately, or Magic, reserve list is going back up now. And new product, it's a new sealed product, all of it, appreciate. I'm unkept, pushing towards $200 a box. Are you serious? Are you serious? Rivals of Ixalan, $150 a box. Are you serious? I was offering that in 2018. Nobody would buy that stuff from me for $79.99. I had distributors calling me, Rudy, are you going to order more standard boxes? You haven't even ordered anything in 3 weeks. And I was like, dude, nobody's buying Ixalan and Rivals, even at $79 shipped. With the Patreon fee, $81 shipped. No one's even buying it. And it's just, I remember all that clearly. Same thing when I ran Iconic Masters for the lowest price I sold it for, $129. Sold some. Most people just thought, here's Rudy, just dumping garbage on his patrons. And they just want to take the emotional part. And to defend Wizards of the Coast, which I don't normally do, all of us now have the same opinion towards them. Everybody's upset because they're raising prices and they're pumping out product. The problem is the product is good and it's selling. I don't care what anyone says. Jumpstart's a good product. This is the best course that I've seen. Double Masters is going to be insane. The product is good. People are just angry at the quantity and the pricing. And they're taking that anger and they're going to make themselves bad decisions for themselves and their financial future long term. That's all I have to say. Hope you all learned something today. Have a great day.